Midnight music.
Coming up this week on Kings of the Rings podcast, first off, may the 4th be with you all. And because of that, we have to talk about Bad Bunny, we have to talk about Backlash, we have to talk about the WWE draft, but more importantly, since we're talking about Bad Bunny, the artist formerly known as Kae Murphy has returned to bring us all of the Bunny goodness. Kae Fabe, in their new iteration, is here, back once again on a probably more permanent basis to bring us all of the goodness that we miss because I still have to listen to Will on a weekly basis. So sit back, relax. It's episode number 339. Turn it Backlash, exclusively here on Wrestle Addict Radio, and it starts right now. So nice. The band's back together.
Oh, I love it.
Isn't it great?
Woohoo.
Yes. Say it with your chest, Kay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 339. Turn it Backlash. I am, of course, your host, King Ricky Rose. Thank you guys for joining us. May the 4th be with you if you're listening to us when this releases tomorrow, because we're all giant Star Wars nerds here. But enough about Star Wars. We got Bad Bunny to talk about. We have the draft to recap, and that's pretty much it. It's going to be a pretty fun and interesting show. But before we get to all of that, let's bring in Will Terzak. Will, how are you?
I'm good, man. Easy Pass is really confusing me. It was like a car I never recognized on there, so I don't know if I've been paying for someone's Easy Pass this whole time or what. So this is interesting. I'll figure it out after the show. But I'm very interested.
Yes, and ladies and gentlemen, back again for the very first time, the artist formerly known as the HBIC, the artist formerly known as the Kae Murphy, but now we introduce to you Kae Fabe.
Hi, everybody. I am glad to be back. We are hopefully at the end of my Eddie Kingston internet era.
Thank God.
Because
Thank God it's right.
I'm panic moving right now. So
Love that shirt, Kay, by the way.
Thank you. My little 2008 CM Punk shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we have a little Mr. Tortellini is here.
He's definitely stalking Gengar. He's like, who the fuck is that?
Well,
I see purple.
Franklin's been through a lot today. I've been through a lot today. So I need this headache to go away, and I'm ready to play.
Wow, that was great rhyming there, Kay. That was a good job.
Oh, you are ready to play.
You are ready to play, Kay. So Kay.
Kay is ready to play.
So Kae Murphy, let me talk to you real quick.
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So we've been really thinking about it, Will and I, and we noticed that you've gone through a good amount of phases here. You started as a Valkyrie, which it's kind of redacted at this moment in time. You also came in.
This and all moments in time.
Yeah, it's not. Listen, it was a great part of our development. Then you came in as the HBIC. Then you came as the Kae Murphy, and now
Queen Bee.
The Queen Bee HBIC, kind of same thing. The Kae Murphy, and now you are Kae Fabe, and you're kind of portraying like the three faces of Foley here. And so Will and I brought it upon ourselves that we have to treat each iteration of you as a completely new person. And since this is Kae Fabe's first time on the show, you will be playing.
You get to play the first
You can play the first guest game.
First guest game.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right. All right. Hold on.
Do you have my answers from when I did it in like 2017?
We can look it up.
Probably somewhere.
But hold on, let's transition to the first guest game right now.
Oh, the first guest game, Mickey set it up, by the way.
Yes.
I was wondering why the first guest game graphic was like in the slide. I'm like, that's weird. Maybe that's from last week.
What's happening? But no, Kae Fabe, it is time to play the first guest game with my hair looking just like this. So, Kae Fabe, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, question number 1. The first guest game, always and forever. How did you get into wrestling? How did you become a mark?
I've been a mark like my whole life. Like I saw wrestling like as a kid, like casually, so I was like very casually watching it in the 90s and 2000s. But then like the mid 2000s was when my addiction like fully like hit. Like I specifically remember, and this is so bad, that fucking Benoit's memorial episode. What
Wow.
was my turning. I shit you not. Benoit's memorial episode of Raw was my turning point because I remember I hadn't really watched wrestling in a while, and I was on the phone with like my friends from like my hometown because I had recently moved, so we used to talk on the phone a lot. And when Chris Benoit died, I remember my one friend was like upset. So I remember we were on a three-way call watching the Chris Benoit. Yeah, we were on three-way watching the Chris Benoit memorial episode of Raw, and then I just, was watching religiously every week ever since, minus like a brief break in like from 2011 to like 2015. I stepped away.
Wait, hold on, Kae. That is not a brief break. That's 4 years.
Yeah, I was in a relationship. Well, I was in a relationship where I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling.
Touche.
So I like.
Thank God you're out of that.
So I like. Thank God. And now I'm in a relationship with someone that goes to wrestling events with me.
That's very true.
So,
and going to wrestling events with Kae Fabe is an experience in and of itself.
Oh my. Like, my partner has seen me in person with CM Punk and Jeff Hardy at the same night.
I don't know how they still have their ears intact.
Same.
All right. Oh, yeah. No kidding. All right, Kae Murphy. Next question, the first guest game. Your favorite wrestler of all time and your favorite wrestler currently, and for a switch, they can't be the same person.
well, CM Punk's not active right now.
CM Punk's your favorite of all time?
Yeah.
All right.
But it also... Punk and Jeff are kind of like both at the number one spot, so like I could also argue like Jeff Hardy's also my favorite wrestler of all time. They both are. Mm-hmm. Oh no, Franklin's on the mic.
Franklin needs to speak to everybody. What do you have to say, Franklin?
It's Punk.
Look at him on the little microphone. Franklin wants to play the first guest game. So yeah, Punk and Jeff Hardy are my favorites of all time. My favorite wrestler right now? It's actually a really good question. For AEW, probably MJF and
Long Island Connection. I understand.
I get it.
Yeah, I have to. And then for WWE, probably. I have a really good question. I've been really fucking with Seth Rollins lately.
Okay.
Because he's like on his fucking game right now.
He's Seth freaking
and
Rollins.
Rhea, of course. Yeah, so probably Seth and Rhea for WWE and MJF for AEW.
Fair.
All right. Great answers all around.
Thank you.
I last week I called an audible and changed this question, so I'm gonna do it again.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So Kae Murphy, you have someone come over who's never watched wrestling before. You need to show them one match. What match are you showing them?
Ooh. Fuck. So I know what my favorite match is not what I would show somebody. Probably if I had to show somebody a wrestling match, it would have to be Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair at Mania.
Interesting.
Oh.
Out of all the matches, you're gonna go with "I'm Sorry, I Love You."
Yeah, well, that's clearly why. It's because there's crying involved.
The storytelling.
There's crying involved, Will.
I have tried showing people like wrestling a lot over the years, and like sometimes it goes well, a lot of times it doesn't. But I feel like a lot of
wait, how old is this dude?
Well, but also I feel like that match specifically, like, highlights that wrestling is such a great medium for storytelling because a lot of people don't consider that. They just think it's a sport that's like fake.
Yeah.
But they don't really look past that. So I think that match for the storytelling aspect. But also I like showing people fun things like the Dinner Debonair musical, the Festival of Friendship.
Oh, what a segment.
I'm sure MJF Day is now going to be added to my list.
Yeah.
Of things I want to show people.
Damn, Kay, that's a really good wrinkle to the question too. Because I know I said match, but even promo as segments even better sometimes.
I
The festival of friendship is a really good thing to show somebody.
The festival
Look how
of
stupid
friendship.
this is. It's awesome.
The festival of friendship is like one of my favorite things that's ever happened in wrestling. Like it's so fucking good.
It's so funny.
It's so great.
It just hits. It hits.
Well, Kae, I got another one for you for like storytelling purposes. What about, and this is gonna bring a tear to your eye, one little gangster tear. The breakup of Enzo and Cass was also good storytelling as well.
Oh, I fucking cried my eyes out.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
I cried my fucking eyes out, but I will say, I probably would not show that to other people because love Enzo, but he's a very acquired taste.
Yes, he is.
And not everyone has an appetite for consensual penis, so like I'm not gonna do that.
Oh yeah, he did. He did say that once.
He did rap that in a song.
Yes, he did.
He did.
That was a choice. That was a choice.
He is an acquired taste. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Super nice. Taste. Genuinely is such a super nice dude, though.
I believe it.
Yeah.
All right, Kae Murphy. What's your finisher?
I feel like my finisher answer 4 or 5 years ago was GTS. But I don't think that would be my finisher now. Shit, what would my fucking finisher be?
That's a good question.
I haven't thought about this in so long. I never thought I'd have to think about this again.
You gotta name it too.
I think, because based on what how I am as a human now, like as a person, like I realistically can't execute shit.
Oh, neither can I. It's a complete fantasy. It's if you were a wrestler, assuming you're in shape and you actually make it to WWE, what's your finisher? Name it and describe it. That's the prompt.
I would love to be able to do like a Canadian destroyer.
You mean just like Bad Bunny?
The Canadian destroyer?
Yes. The Canadian destroyer, yes.
The Canadian destroyer and Slack is my first victim.
You do a Canadian destroyer to a Canadian. You have to. It's perfect.
That's my thing. I'm only gonna wrestle Canadians.
That's your gimmick? That's your gimmick? You only wrestle Canadians? There's a lot of them, surprisingly.
There's a lot of good...
Jinder got a year-long feud.
Yeah, it was like you and Jinder, you and...
Jinder Mahal and I would put on a classic.
Santino, yep.
Look at me like,
Santino, wait.
Bobby Roode.
Santino's from Canada?
Yeah,
Santino's from Canada.
Santino also runs a wrestling promotion in Canada.
He's also the GM of TNA.
It's,
so there's a thing.
I think he runs Destiny Pro Wrestling in Canada. I believe that's the name of the organization, is Destiny. Santino is from Toronto, that's correct. Yeah, I have to double check with the Queen, but I believe it's Destiny Pro Wrestling in Canada. But
hell of a guy.
Yeah, hell of a guy. Great guy.
All right, Kae Murphy. 2 more questions. I'm trying to remember what this next one is. I just had. Oh yeah.
How did you find out about us?
Yeah, this one I haven't heard in a long time. How did you find the Kings of the Rings podcast?
Twitter, like everyone else. I had become friends on Twitter with the Queen herself, Danny Nolan, on Twitter, and she was friends with y'all, and she linked me up with y'all, and I found out years later that when everybody went to SummerSlam 2017, she had told y'all that she was wanting to find her friend to say happy birthday, and that friend was me.
Yep, that is a real story. Yes,
that is a true story.
That is a true story. We didn't know it at the time, but it was you. But then it ended up, as fate would have it.
Yeah.
I was still here.
Drunk as fuck. It was my 26th birthday at SummerSlam.
Oh, so were we. It was what a weekend that was.
Mm-hmm. All right. And do I even bother asking the last question? We all know the answer.
Yes, we still need to ask it because I need to put a future compilation together of everybody saying their answers all in a row and put it on YouTube.
All right, Kae Murphy, are you team fuck you Slack or team fuck you Slack?
Both myself and Frank Tortellini are proudly team fuck you Slack.
There we go.
There we go.
Look how excited he is!
New name, same pay.
Why is
He's literally on
Frank
the
attacking your microphone right now?
He's so passionate about being Team Fuck You Slack
I see.
that he needed to let
He wants to
you
hop
know.
through the cameras, beat the fuck out of him.
He wanted to say it himself.
All right.
Jesus.
Can I add a question to the first guest game?
Sure. Yeah, go right ahead.
In the squared circle, we have Franklin Tortellini versus Slack. Who do we think will win?
Ooh.
Oh, obviously the audience.
Oh, that's a tough one. Who would win?
I would also like to point out that Franklin's earliest, most formative memories as a baby was watching AEW with me because he was adopted the week we went to Grand Slam.
Oh, so Franklin's blading.
Yeah.
How does that work if he's cold-blooded?
I don't know, actually. Probably not well. I'm gonna say just by aggression alone, Franklin's gonna beat Slack. Like that motherfucker's tenacious. Look at him. He just wants to pop out of that screen.
He's a big boy, but he also loves jumping off of things.
He might beat Slack.
Slack is just too goofy. He's too. You know what? Slack's too afraid to kill anything.
That's true.
Slack doesn't even kill mosquitoes.
That's true. Good evening, Broadcast Podcast. Okay, you haven't been on for a while, but we made friends with the Broadcast Podcast. They're a wrestling podcast from Australia.
Oh, fuck yeah, that's cool. Hi, friends.
Yes, hi, friends. That Tim Tam request is still gonna be that's still eligible. Broadcast guys, trying to pay them to get some Tim Tams from Australia.
I think that sounds great, Franklin. We're gonna sit nice.
Franklin's not gonna sit nice.
Absolutely not, but I need to eat because I feel like I'm going to pass out.
That's good. That's fine. But that is the end of the first guest game, right?
And ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the first guest game. Thank you very much for our guest, Kae Fabe.
Yes, Kae Fabe. I hope you stay for a little bit longer because, I mean, you are kind of a third host on the show. But let's move on to This Week in Wrestling. Before we get to our Backlash predictions, we're going to recap the WWE Draft, which was, hey, a thing. Let's start with the Raw roster. Obviously the bigger of the two shows because there's a third hour, obviously, and the Raw roster will consist of these people, not in any order whatsoever. I know you can't really see the names on the screen, but I am going to tell them for you right now. We have on the Raw roster officially Akira Tozawa, Alpha Academy, Apollo Crews, Becky Lynch, Braun Strowman, and Ricochet were a package deal as a tag team, very telling. Thick Boy Bronson Reed, Candice LeRae, Adrenaline in His Soul, Cody Rhodes, Dana Brooke, Dexter Lumis, Drew McIntyre, Emma, Humberto Carrillo, and Angel Garza. Yes, they are still on the roster. Imperium, including Gunther, as well. Indy Hartwell, the current NXT Women's Champion, which she just vacated last night. Inda Sheer, which means Jinder Mahal, Veer Mahan, and Sangha as a team coming up from NXT. JD McDonough, also drafted from NXT. Johnny Gargano, which means, yes, folks, the way is all on one brand.
Thank God.
Okay. Two of my favorites in NXT, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, Team Ninja, finally.
Yeah. I thought of you
Finally.
I was so happy.
Me too.
The undisputed tag team champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, have been drafted to Raw. Again, very telling. All of Maximum Male models, Masay Mansour, Maxine Dupree.
God, Kae, did you watch our draft last week?
I watched, no, I didn't watch your draft yet. I only watched Raw, honestly.
Wait until you see the faction I draft and create.
I still have the list.
And the gimmick. I have the list too. I kept the list.
Yeah, so also on this Raw roster, we have Matt Riddle, yay. Natalia, yay.
Cool.
Nikki Cross, who is going to be returning, because apparently Nikki Cross just finished her master's degree, hence why she hasn't been on TV.
Good for her.
Drafted from NXT, Odyssey Jones. Hell yeah. I know you. Do you know Odyssey Jones?
No, I drafted him, though.
Yeah, Odyssey Jones, giant black guy, used to play football at Syracuse.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him. I was like, I need him on my team.
Also here, we have Piper Niven, Raquel, and Liv Morgan, the women's champions, tag team champions, are drafted to Raw as well. Again, interesting pickups. Rhea Ripley, the SmackDown Women's Champion, drafted to Raw. Jesus Christ. Riddick Moss, yeah.
I hate that bullshit.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler as a package deal to Raw.
Cool.
Seth freaking Rollins to Raw. Shinsuke Nakamura for the first time ever going to be on Raw on a consistent basis. Sonya Deville free from the ties of that stalker finally, and Chelsea Green going to Raw. Cute as a button, Tegan Knox to Raw. All of the Judgment Day to Raw as well, so we're not splitting up Rhea in the Judgment Day. The Miz, probably the most consistent draft pick every year to Raw.
No, he's literally been on Raw for like 7 years in a row.
He always flip-flops when the draft happens.
He does, but he hasn't flip-flopped in a while.
Not in a while, you are correct. The New Day, Kofi and Xavier Woods, that did not include Big E, just so everybody knows. The Viking Raiders, including Will's secret boo.
That did not include Big E.
It did not include, they only said Kofi
He's
and
still out.
Big E's still out, yeah.
Okay.
The biggest surprise, one of the biggest surprises of the draft, Trish Stratus is pretty much cemented as full-time now again.
That's wild.
I think it's because she is in a feud.
Xia Li drafted to Raw, and also the call-up from NXT, Zoe Stark drafted to Raw.
Applebee's, let's
drafted
go.
to Raw as well. So let's break down the Raw roster. Will, what do you think of these picks?
I think it's a strong roster. I think it's pretty deep. I think SmackDown's is way better. But
Yeah.
it's you know what, sometimes it's going to be a tough 3-hour show, but Rick, we talked about this a little bit on the pre-show, if not off air.
Yeah.
Tag teams.
Yeah.
A lot of tag teams.
It is interesting that the tag team, that most of the already made tag teams, men's or women's division, outside of like maybe one big tag team in NXT that got called up to SmackDown, are all on Raw, including the champions. Like the women's tag team champions usually hop back and forth, but they are painting the picture that the tag division, including Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, who have the tag titles from both shows, got drafted to Raw. So it creates the picture that the tag team division is going to be exclusive to Raw. And I'm not mad about it. I think that's actually might be a good thing.
Doesn't bother me either. I think it gives Raw time to kill.
Yes, it is a time killer.
In an engaging way that can still actually work at times, and it lets SmackDown breathe. And it lets SmackDown put focus on actual solo stars to go up against Roman. It's just kind of a shame that they put Gunther. I think Gunther would have been more better on SmackDown to be a worker. But give that. I mean,
Yeah,
Austin Theory isn't a
on
bad choice either,
SmackDown.
though.
Yeah. What did you say, Kay?
I said that, but Gunther can't live on SmackDown forever. Like, I understand that wanting to highlight certain people on SmackDown is a good idea because of the Fox viewership.
Yeah.
But, like, as a result of that, like, you can't, I don't know, certain people I feel like are going to be drafted to SmackDown for a long time, like Roman Reigns, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
And, like, I don't know, it gets old for me. But I also worry about all the tag teams being booked on Raw. While that is a great way to kill time, I am concerned that there's going to be really fucking lazy booking, like lots of these 8-man tag matches. Like,
Probably.
just to fuck, like,
Probably. Yeah. Probably.
yeah.
that's my concern. I love tag team wrestling, and I want it to actually be more than just a way to get everybody on TV. Like, I want the feuds to mean something, and I'm concerned that the feud is going to be, like, not the feud, the booking will be lazy.
It is going to be.
Overtime.
It is going to be interesting because now that clearly Roman Reigns is no longer on Raw, this also means that the WWE, the newly branded or the reimagined or the brought back, or who knows what the lineage is of his damn new title, it just looks really nice. The WWE World Champion will be on Raw, whoever that is, and there are a lot of good candidates. You have Cody, which is probably the worst, bad choice. Seth freaking Rollins, which is probably the best choice. And a bunch of other talent there that they can really work with. Matt Riddle, technically.
Absolutely not.
JD McDonough is a dark horse. He's not going to get close, but he'll make it interesting. The Miz, obviously, is always going to be a contender for that as well. So it's going to be a good little who is going to be the top dog of Raw. And I think that's a good spot for Raw to be in. Because there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of young talent. It's a very balanced roster for the most part.
I wouldn't mind a Seth Rollins Johnny Gargano feud.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun.
You also have The Way, which can be a thing now that Indy Hartwell is there.
There's a fair amount of factions there, too. Judgment Day versus Imperium is going to be fucking incredible.
Yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura also is prone for a massive run right now. Because, I don't know if anybody watched Raw, they gave him his old theme and entrance again.
Yeah.
Oh, it was fucking
Yeah,
sick.
they're giving him a grand entrance again. I was like, oh, I think he's ready to go.
Yeah, he's had a few years
Yeah,
off.
I think he's ready to go. So I'm very, very excited about what Shinsuke can bring to Raw. I wouldn't be surprised because this is good.
I hope so, dude. Because like I feel like we've been robbed of Shinsuke in WWE, and I think a lot of that is because he's been doing this for years and he kind of wanted to chill. Which if that's the case, this is his choice. Hey man, I'm cool with it because it's your fucking career. But I feel like we've been robbed of the Shinsuke run that we really do deserve and he deserves for his career.
Yeah.
And I think this is it right before he retires. I think it's gonna be excellent.
I think this is also the Shinsuke run. I wouldn't be surprised at Night of Champions if the finals is Seth versus Shinsuke. Because that's my prediction right now. Seth Shinsuke for the world title. Shinsuke's not gonna win, but it's gonna be so fucking good. Like that's a show stealer right there in and of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be fantastic. So let's move on to the SmackDown roster. A little bit smaller, but very heavy. A very, very heavy and dense roster in and of itself. So let's break this down, again, in no particular order. Yeah. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, the current and reigning WWE NXT Women's Tag Champions, because they beat Kaden Carter and and Katana Chance, which was weird because they both got drafted. I'm like, oh, we're going to have a tag title match, but more on that later. Asuka drafted to SmackDown. Austin Theory, the United States champion, because you have Gunther on Raw. Bianca Belair, the Raw Women's Champion. Bobby Lashley. Kae Murphy said it best in Discord, going to the moon. Cameron Grimes called up from NXT to SmackDown. Charlotte Flair on SmackDown. All of Damage Control. Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky also on SmackDown. Grayson Waller drafted, called up from NXT to SmackDown. Grayson Waller is probably a sleeper pick. Edge drafted to SmackDown, which means this is probably Edge's final run. And I like that they gave it to Edge so that he ends his career on the show that made him a star on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Hit Row,
I agree.
Hit Row, SmackDown, because they're still around. Karrion Kross and Scarlett also to SmackDown. L.A. Knight remains on SmackDown. Lacey Evans on SmackDown. All of the LWO, including Rey Mysterio, on SmackDown. So no more Dominic versus Rey. That's over with. Now,
I'm glad.
Kae Murphy, be really happy. Pretty Deadly drafted to SmackDown.
I'm not happy about that. I don't care about Pretty Deadly.
Not many people
at
do.
all.
Rick Boogs drafted to SmackDown. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa were drafted together, and then the Usos were drafted later to SmackDown. So don't be worried, folks. The Bloodline is all on SmackDown because it'd be...
Yeah, guys, what the fuck do you think was going to happen?
Honestly, I thought they'd split them.
They teased it.
I wanted to see what would happen. I know. I thought the Usos were going to go to Raw.
Everybody did for a while.
But I would like to see it. I would like to see how the I think we're at the beginning of the splintering of the Bloodline once the Usos dropped, and I would like to see how the Bloodline would factor if they are on two separate shows.
It is going to be interesting.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Franklin.
So moving on, also drafted Shotzi and her tank to SmackDown. Tamina, who is still on the roster, to SmackDown as well. The Brawlin' Brutes, Ridge Holland, the guy formerly known as Pete Dunne, Butch, and Sheamus, all to SmackDown. The OC, Gallows, Anderson, Mia Yim, Michin, and AJ Styles to SmackDown. The Street Profits the Street Profits were also as a tag team drafted to SmackDown.
That's weird. Why aren't they on Raw?
Bianca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bianca.
Correct.
Also to note, because of this as well, you also have, with the changes, Samantha Irvin, Ricochet's fiance, the former announcer of SmackDown, will now be moving to Raw. Mike Rome, the ring announcer of Raw, will be moving over to SmackDown, because they really are not splitting up any couples whatsoever, including Indy and Dexter.
That's funny.
Including.
I don't think they should.
No, I think it
unless Ricochet was like, hey man, put us off.
Get me out of here. Get me out of here. No, I look at the SmackDown roster and I'm like, holy shit, this thing is really heavy and dense with a lot of good talent. And
Very good roster.
yeah, it's a very good roster. They have a majority of the better women wrestlers and performers on the roster. You have a lot of heavy hitters for Roman to go up against. Like, we haven't seen Roman and Bobby in a long time.
Randy Orton's coming back.
Randy's somewhere
Thank
in the
God.
whims. Who else do we have? I mean, AJ Styles and Roman have not actually worked together in years. Okay.
It's been a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, and Roman was still dealing with... I mean, Roman at the time when he went up against AJ was a brand new champion. AJ got him over in a 2-month feud, and then Seth Rollins came back and fucked up everything.
There's a story with Jimmy Uso and Roman too. Like, there's still a bloodline story there.
Yeah, there's a lot
There's
here.
plenty to go off.
There's a lot here that they can work
Bobby
with.
Lashley.
Yeah, I would love to see LA...
That's all you gotta say.
Yeah, yeah. Bobby and Roman... Here's the thing. I looked it up. Bobby and Roman have not actually gone head-to-head during Roman's current run.
They haven't, no.
Not in a one-on-one at all. Because after a while, it was like Bobby goes to mess around with Brock.
Mm-hmm.
So there's your first story. Bobby versus Roman is an amazing match on paper. And it's going to be interesting to see how Roman gets out of it. Like, I love all of this. LA Knight is about to break out as a giant star on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they keep these people separate. Keep these rosters separate. So I like it. I feel like if you're on SmackDown, they have a lot of faith in you.
Yeah.
Unless you're Rick Boogs. Because he's one more injury away from just calling it a career. But also, not to be broken up, there are also things that are named people who have been negotiated as free agents. So they were either not drafted or were negotiated as free agents. The biggest free agents.
Almost too?
Yes.
Really? Why?
So
No one
Stop
wanted them?
stop trying to make fetch happen. Fetch isn't going to happen.
so
You know what? Exactly. Fucking thank you. Finally, someone understands.
so here's what happened.
No, that's the thing. I don't get why. Like, I understand that they're trying to push the big meaty man.
Mhm.
He is not meat slapping majesty to me. I'm sorry. And to
He
like
sucks.
circle back to like a couple years ago, Omos is not top tier talent.
He's not an attraction either. He fucking sucks.
He's just.
Taquan is tired of your
He's just-
homophobia.
That's fine.
I am not homophobic. He doesn't have star quality to me. He's just tall. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
don't know why Undertaker
no,
likes him so
it's
much.
it's the same thing. Like, women like tall men. Like, I know so many women that like a lot of the first questions they'll ask if they're talking to a new dude, how tall is he?
How tall are you? Yeah.
How tall is this guy? That's what the deal with Omos.
Weird. I don't get it, but
Good for him. Like, I'm happy for him. But like,
Well, according to Kae Fabe, not the host of the show, but MVP negotiated Omos being a free agent. Brock Lesnar also a free agent. Other free agents include Dolph Ziggler, Mustafa Ali, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander. Elias Von Wagner from NXT
Ew.
called up, and Zion Quinn, also an NXT talent, who is
it's not really a
Who?
call up. It's kind of just like, yeah.
And last but
We're
not
gonna put you in
least,
limbo.
Baron Corbin, also a free agent.
what?
Baron Corbin's a free agent.
So,
It's pretty much just like, hey, with the exception of Brock, we're just waiting for your contracts to expire.
So here's my thing with this. So Triple H on Raw when he came out and said he's pretty much said that there's this thing. There's a people who were designated who negotiated to be free agents like Omos, and Brock Lesnar, and there are people who weren't going to be picked up that were also going to be able, and he didn't really give it a name, but people who just weren't going to be drafted that will also be able to be signed at a later date. And so I had this discussion with the other Will the Gray from Bot Spots and Chair Shots. Like, there has to be a distinction between someone who wasn't drafted and someone who has been negotiated as a free agent. Like, they could add that realism. Like, if you are not drafted, you have to maybe you start proving your worth wherever you get called back to NXT. Maybe you just start you do dark matches on main event until someone signs you. to like a television roster spot. Whereas if you're a free agent, you should be able to go back and forth wherever you want until someone signs you. Like there has to be some sort of distinction. But here, when they just named a free agent pool, which is based off of people that were not drafted and or negotiated free agents, I'm like, what's the difference? Like there has to be some distinction between.
Does this mean like shots he can get released and become a free agent?
Yeah, like I don't know.
That'd be pretty cool, to be honest. That would be pretty cool.
I do like it, and I think that's what they're missing in the WWE draft. There has to be some sort of sense of realism to this. And I like the idea of a free agency pool where they can show up anywhere. But you also have to limit when they show up. And they should maybe do dark. I mean, obviously Brock's not going to do a dark match. But like a Zion
No, he should do only dark match.
Imagine.
But like a Zion Quinn, a Von Wagner, and Elias, Mustafa, should be doing like maybe main event matches where they're not televised, but it's like the free agents trying to show their worth.
Yeah.
And things like that. It's interesting, but overall,
is a way you can make a storyline out of it.
Yeah. Overall, what are our thoughts on this year's version of a draft? Will Tarashuk?
I like it. I think they did a good job. They took something they need. Well, first, they needed to switch up the rosters a little bit. Just shake it up, start over, and have new storylines. And then have the pop and circumstance because it's something to watch. Like I haven't watched wrestling the past few weeks. I did watch the drafts though. I was curious, see how they do, and it's cool. Who's coming next? Yeah. So I think it worked. It's effective. It's a nice change of tune. This free agent thing is fucking stupid, and we all know it's gonna be changed in 3 months anyway. So enjoy while it lasts.
3 months, 3 years. Who knows what's happening? Kae Murphy, what are your thoughts on this year's draft?
I agree. I think a lot of the shakeups were needed. I like seeing the NXT call-ups because I think they're going to shake up the divisions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm fine with it. Some of the women's pretty much every women's champion got put on the wrong brand, but that's fine, I guess.
I do hate that.
You do you.
I do hate when they swap the titles. Swapping the mid-card belts is fine, but it's like if you have a show named after a fucking show, a title named after a show, don't just leave it there.
They need to then change the design of the belts and the names of the belts. Like, say, do like a women's WWE champion and a women's
world champion.
You know why they do it though like that? It's because the Street Profits can now say they are both Raw and SmackDown champions because they handed them over and swapped.
Yeah.
It's so they can say Rhea Ripley, former Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion, Bianca Belair, former Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion.
But here's the thing with that: they already won those titles by themselves.
Well, Bianca did.
No, and so did Rhea.
Rhea win the SmackDown. Rhea did as well. They both did anyway.
Rhea beat Charlotte at Mania this year for the SmackDown title.
I forgot Rhea had the Raw Championship like 3 years ago.
She beat by beating Asuka at WrestleMania.
And I also forgot that Bianca had the SmackDown Championship
by beating Sasha Banks at WrestleMania.
I thought she beat Sasha for the Raw. No, she beat Becky for the Raw.
No, she beat Asuka for the Raw.
Asuka for the Raw.
So yeah,
it's fucking stupid.
It's that I do agree with Kay. Either you change the name of the titles, of the women's titles, and don't do brand specific titles, or you make those brand specific champions ineligible to be drafted because they have to stay and represent the brand.
Yeah,
it's one of the others. It's one of the other, and that's something that they really have to fix. That like we know how bad the last title swap occurred. Because that was real heat. That was real heat. That was real animosity.
Yeah, but Bianca and Rhea are like
Bianca and Rhea are besties, so they'll be fine. But it also makes these championship matches at Backlash, as we're about to talk about, kind of null and void because it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all. What I did enjoy about the draft this year is that they brought back a bunch of guests to do the selections.
Godfrey and Dan was a nice surprise.
Both nights.
Yeah. One of my guys.
Both nights, Road Dogg, HBK, Booker T and Sharmell, Eric Bischoff.
Actually, hey, I actually connected with JBL on LinkedIn the other day.
Yeah, how's that going, by the way?
He popped nothing. He popped up and recommended. I was like, yeah, why not? I'll connect with JBL, and he accepted.
There you go.
So thanks, JBL.
Yeah, I can tell you all his stock tips.
Like what should I message JBL?
Don't ask him about
this is LinkedIn, remember?
Oh yeah, so you gotta speak
I
the right
don't know.
way.
I get some I feel like I get a lot of unhinged messages on LinkedIn.
I get the worst messages on LinkedIn, but that's another story. What should I LinkedIn message John Bradshaw Layfield?
I honestly don't know.
Big fan, you asshole.
I don't know.
Why'd you have to murder Eddie Guerrero?
No, I think that's the wrong way to start out.
Because that's when Eddie cut too deep, right? Massive JBL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what you talk to JBL about. You should just push the podcast. Get him on your show. There you go. Get him on. See if he'll bite.
God, I feel like the only thing the last thing JBL wants to hear is, "Hey, come on my podcast."
See if he'll bite. See if he'll bite.
Never know.
You never know. See if he'll bite. That might be the easiest way in. And kind of milk it too. Like, you want to get experience. You're a big, like, just, totally kiss his ass a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's tell you, it's worth a look see. It's worth a look see. So that was the WWE draft. But let's go to the event of the weekend outside of UFC.
Ask about Mar when he blocks me.
That's a good idea. So Backlash is this weekend, folks, a.k.a. the Bad Bunny Spectacular. Reason why Kae Fabe has returned. Backlash is going to be live from San Juan, Puerto Rico this Saturday, starting at 8. It is an interesting card, a card that really has no build. It is, let's be honest, folks, this is kind of a throwaway pay-per-view or premium live event. But it's a thing, and they're going to make probably a crap ton of money off it. So let's go through the card, starting with the main event, or what's going to be the main event, that has actually no legitimate story behind it, besides that Brock is mad and Cody wants to fight Brock. That is literally the story. Don't believe that Brock was mad because he went on first at Mania bullshit that they tried to push for like a week. There is no story there is no story to this match at all. It is Brock versus Cody. Never happened before. Very interested. Here's my question for you, Will. How much is Cody going to bleed in this match?
I don't know, man. I hope they do. I hope they do let him bleed, even if it's just the fake blood.
Yeah.
Because I think the fake blood works, and like I can say some of my disbelief. If I want to see real blood, I'll watch a John Moxley match. But I think he gets the fake blood for sure, because I think the match will kind of needs it. I think Cody needs it, especially if he's losing.
Yeah, you're gonna need to build buy-in somehow, because they're not telling a good story on the shows. Like, Cody is trying to fight Brock, and Brock is literally walking out in a hat and a trench coat and not saying a word and then walking away for the last 3 weeks. That's the story.
Brock's just fucking around, dude. I mean, here's the thing. The match is already sold, right? We're all going to watch it.
We're going to watch it.
In fucking Puerto Rico. Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. The match is going to be great. Who gives a fuck about the build, dude? It's like WrestleMania hangover. Who cares?
All right, I'll say this right now. I want this setup to be looking like you remember when WCW did like Hog Wild or like a Bash at the Beach? I want this to be on the beach. They're not going to do it, but I want it to be on the beach. I want the setup to be on the beach.
That would be cool.
They're not going to do it at all, but I wish we didn't. I wish there was a story behind this, because like
just do it at Logan Paul's house.
How is he not on the card is beyond me.
Dude, I feel like him and Bad Bunny can't be in the same building.
That might.
They really don't like each other.
That might actually be a real thing.
I mean, Bad Bunny did call him out in a fake music video, and he was just like, "Bro, what the fuck? Come on."
That might be a legitimate real thing. We'll keep going.
No, there's definitely real heat there. Mm-hmm. Bad Bunny's like, "Hey man, you're kind of invading my country," and Logan Paul's like, "Hey man, it's my country too."
Now, when Logan Paul does his Impulsive show, is that from Puerto Rico, or like where's that studio at?
I don't know. It might be, because he lives in Puerto Rico for the tax breaks. It's just a thing rich Americans do.
Yeah.
They go buy land in Puerto Rico and they get a bunch of tax breaks.
Yeah, because it's not a real state.
No, but it's territory. Yeah. It's a loophole.
Yeah, no.
And it's a paradise. He's got to deal with hurricanes and Puerto Ricans.
Well, you live in New York. You've seen, it happens.
I do. I love Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I've never met Puerto Rican I didn't like.
It's like half of the New York Yankees fan base.
Yeah. They're great people.
They are great people. But yeah, no, it might be. I wouldn't be surprised if Logan Paul shows up. Like, here's what I want to happen in the Bad Bunny match, which we're going to talk about. Logan Paul interferes in Bad Bunny, and it sets up their match at Night of Champions.
Oh my
we get
God,
a true celebrity versus celebrity feud at Night of Champions.
Both of them go to Saudi, dude. Can you see Bad Bunny in Saudi Arabia? What do you think of Saudi Arabians think of Bad Bunny?
They might like him.
They might, dude.
might
It's a
like-
genuine question. I mean, who doesn't like
Bad
Bad
Bunny,
Bunny?
exactly.
He's the fucking greatest. But like, do you think Saudi Arabians just like singing in Spanish music?
They
Well, they
might.
like us. We have no idea what they're saying, but we love
They
it.
might. They might.
I know this isn't Bad Bunny, but imagine if like Saudi Arabians was like hooked on the gasolina.
It's not Bad Bunny at all.
I know it's not Bad Bunny, but it's not in English.
It's Daddy Yankee, but you're not even. I'm not going to say you're close. You're not even close. You're off by a couple of
Not even
decades.
I preface it with I know this isn't Bad Bunny, Ricky. I gave myself an out.
Still, I was like, you couldn't find something more relevant. Anywho, Kae Murphy, we're done. We're done going back and forth about Logan Paul and Bad Bunny. But Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar, Kae Murphy, what do you got for this?
Sorry, y'all. I feel like absolute garbage. I feel very sick, and
Oh.
I will probably be bouncing ASAP.
Okay.
But I think I want it to be Brock so bad, but they're gonna give us some bullshit and make Cody win, and I don't want it, but that's what we're gonna get.
Fair enough. All right, here's a question, Kae. Does Cody bleed?
Yeah, and cries.
Right.
And he takes his boots off.
He's
So
gonna
I'm
cry.
telling you, I'm gonna say it every week. I can't fucking wait to boo Cody Rhodes. It
I
is
say it
gonna
every
be the
week, too.
greatest thing. I can't wait to boo him.
We'll see what happens. So, I'm going with Cody with the win. Will, are you going Cody with the win?
I'm gonna go with Cody at the win.
Cody with the win. Kae reluctantly is also going with Cody for the win. So let's move on to, before Kae leaves, we obviously have to get your Bad Bunny prediction in. You're welcome, and I put the slides the way that it was. Sam Benito, who's hosting the event, is also going to be fighting former bestie Damian Priest in what's going to be known as a San Juan street fight. Because Puerto Rican street fight sounds really weird. San Juan street fight.
This main events, right?
No, I think Cody and Brock main events.
Yeah, this is
I don't
gonna
think-
be like. I think this is gonna go before Cody. Like, I think it'll be like right before the main event.
Damian Priest is also Puerto Rican.
Yes, but he's from the Bronx.
Yeah, well, still Puerto Rican.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. They did do a really good job of adding a lot of performers of Puerto Rican descent on this card.
Yeah.
Which is
Zelina as well.
yeah, which is going to be
Which
great.
I didn't know. I didn't know she was Puerto Rican.
How did you not know she was Puerto Rican?
Really?
Really?
I had no
You
idea.
met
I
her.
think everyone.
Hey man, I thought she was Dominican.
Okay, arguable.
I think if I just don't know someone who's like Latino or Latina, and I know they're not Mexican, I pretty much just kind of assume they're Puerto. I thought Jazz was Dominican.
Jazz is ethnically ambiguous.
No, she's Guyanese.
Well, I know
West
that,
Indian.
but appearance-wise, ethnically ambiguous.
Yeah, I was like, she's like, do you know what Guyana is? I'm like, no.
At least you were
I
honest.
have no idea. I guessed Caribbean, but I didn't know. I thought it was like an island.
It's on the continent of South America with a Caribbean.
It's next to Venezuela.
That
It's
is
next to Venezuela.
correct. Yes.
Yeah.
That is correct. But anywho,
Now I know. It's only been 3 years.
everybody learns at their own rate. But Kae Murphy, this is your match more so than it is myself and Will's. Tell us how this is gonna go.
Bad Bunny's gonna kick the literal shit out of Damian Priest. Bad Bunny is winning. And Puerto Rico will celebrate.
All right, so here's my question for you, Will. What's the craziest thing we're going to see Bad Bunny do in his home country of Puerto Rico to Damian Priest?
Oh, dude, Damian Priest is gonna stack Spanish announce tables and put Bad Bunny through both of them.
Oh my god.
Without hesitation. That is my fucking answer.
And somehow Bad Bunny gets the win. I expect a lot of crazy stuff. I like the fact that it's, again, not a traditional wrestling match for Bad Bunny, because Bad Bunny is more of a music star than he is an actual wrestler. However, he has trained on a consistent basis. Obviously, Damian Priest is somebody that he trusts because they've been working together for a considerable amount of time in WWE.
Yeah, dude, Bad Bunny does a 450 Canadian destroyer.
It's just something we haven't seen ever.
Do you imagine if that actually happened? That'd be the craziest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Whatever happens in this match, this is going to be headlines all over the world just because it's Bad Bunny. Which is the genius of having him in a legit wrestling match and in a street fight match. Like, this is going to pull a bunch of views all over the place.
That's why I think it main events.
He's hosting, so it could lead to the main event. That makes sense.
I mean, dude, you said it yourself, dude. The title matches in this card mean nothing. This is the only match that actually means anything.
Just on publicity alone, you are correct. Yeah.
And to the crowd.
True.
They're in Puerto Rico. It's their guy. They want to see their guy.
Yeah, so I'm going to be interested to see where this lands on the cards. Remember, he is technically the host of the event.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for this match to be put on first and him go host because that's stupid. He's going to be hurt. Like, he's going to be in pain.
Nah, he's going to go as close. It's going to be second to last, I think.
Second last, I think might be a safe bet there.
Yeah, I think it's a great co-main too. But I would not be surprised or upset if it main evented.
He's gonna have a badass entrance. I am gonna know that. I do know that.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be fun. I can't wait. He might come in on a helicopter or a luchador mask. Who knows? Well, I've got Bad Bunny winning. Will you have Bad Bunny winning too?
I have Bad Bunny winning.
Yeah, Damian Priest can take a bump. He can. It's fine. Moving on. Again, this is a trios match for the sake of pushing a storyline because Roman's not around. The bloodline that doesn't include Roman Reigns, the Usos, and Solo Sikoa versus Sami and KO and everybody's least favorite pothead at this moment, Matt Riddle. It's I'm very Kevin Owens in this, as I just want to just scream every time Matt Riddle's on my television. Like, what is he doing here? Why does he even matter?
On that note, I'ma leave.
Wow. Matt Riddle has made Kae Fabe leave.
Kae, feel
better, Kae.
Thanks,
We've
y'all.
got it from here.
Glad to be here.
Well,
this was a very last-minute betrayal of my stomach, so I'm gonna go.
It's fine. Will you be back next week, Kae Fabe?
Probably.
Yay!
We'll let you know.
Let us
Love
know.
y'all.
Bye, Kae.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. All right. So, I don't even know who wins this. Do I really care about this trios match? It's a thing. It's gonna happen.
I mean, as long as Matt Riddle gets pinned by Solo, I think it works. It's just Roman's enjoying his vacation, so they put in Solo instead.
I do like Paul Heyman teasing Solo turning on the Usos and Solo being kind of just like the hitman of the bloodline.
Solo loves looking at his thumb.
Just taping it up.
He's like, "Yep, I know, Paul. I'm gonna do it to you instead, you bitch."
Like, how much tape do you think he goes through a week just taping up the thumb?
Probably a lot. He's not paying for it, so who cares?
That's true. That is very true.
I wonder if it's comfortable.
I've had my hands taped for football a couple of times. It's not bad. It is pretty comfy. Once you loosen it up a bit, because you do have to like tape it on tight, and then you loosen up. But it's fine. It's fine. It's pretty much more of a look than anything else. But for this match, I mean, I feel like this is the Sami, KO, and Riddle win just for the sake of it, because we got to push the fact that the Usos can't win without Roman around. I feel like that's the story here. Like I don't know how this is gonna go. I'm interested though, because it's always the will Solo or won't Solo beat the shit out of the Usos.
I mean, the Bloodline's always interesting, but this is just it's a pick-me-up match. Here's some athleticism.
And
here's Hector Garza and Pentagon Senior.
Yeah. What I find interesting about this, I've been noticing this, is that, do you understand how protected Solo Sikoa is in WWE at the moment? Like,
he's been pinned twice.
But he's also, look at the people he's gone up against in solo matches. Ever since he's been called up. He's gone against
Cody, Seth.
He's gone up against every top talent. I'm just like, Jesus, they must either he's protected because he's with Roman and the Usos, or they really like him.
Yeah, they put him with everybody.
Yeah. And he works really well. I'm not gonna lie, he does work really well with all of them.
He fits.
Yeah.
He fits. Like, he doesn't look out of place. He doesn't feel forced either. It fits. It works.
He has a badass entrance too. I love his entrance.
Kid's really talented.
Yeah.
I want him and Hook to have a fight over who's really his son of Taz.
No, I want Hook and Taz versus Rikishi and Solo.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
that would be good.
That's what I
That'd be
want.
good. That'd be pretty good. This Rikishi and Taz just roll into each other.
Actually, you know what I really want? I was actually vibing about this with Sir Charles the other week. Like we need to do like some stupid house show stuff when the Bloodline storyline's over and they can have a little bit more fun. But we need to do this whole thing where everybody tries to get Solo to break character and dance.
Well, that's what my character for what's his name was, the guy from NXT I drafted.
Oh, Odyssey Jones?
No, the other one, the Quincy, whatever.
Quincy Elliott.
Quincy Elliott.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quincy Elliott's gimmick was going to be he's just going to making Solo break and do the Rikishi dance. And then it doesn't work, he's got to bring in a maximum male model.
No, the only way that Solo has to break characters dance, you got to get the Rikishi glasses. You got to put the glasses on him, and he like.
You got to put the glasses on him, and eventually he just does it. And then the Usos join in, and then they beat the fuck out of the maximum male model. It's like, once they get in the break, then they just beat the fuck out of him.
I can't wait. But yeah, I guess Sammy and KO and Riddle win because they got to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the call. That's got to be.
And Sammy's momentum is gone. And right back to the mid card.
Yeah, and now that they're separated, it's just yeah. They got to do something. But luckily, if they still remain tag champions, if they only relegate the tag team champions to Raw, which I think might be actually a smarter look than what most people are giving them credit for.
Yeah.
You have all the tag teams to deal with there. They can actually go on a run and be a legit tag team.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they'll be fine. They'll probably go on a decent run.
Yeah.
They'll be around, but like that, how over he was just didn't carry over. Like it carried over for Brian, it carried over for like pretty much anybody else.
Still carrying for Cody.
It carried over for Kofi too.
Yeah.
Like Kofi's title run, that Kofi Mania carried for until he dropped it.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy, it's just
shoo down.
Gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah, and now he won't get it back because what helped Sammy in that instance was that he was paired with the Bloodline, and now they are on two separate shows.
Yeah.
So you gotta start over. So be interesting to see what happens with that. Moving on, women's title match that will mean absolutely nothing because Bianca's switching brands and switching titles, which is clearly going to happen. Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. Outside of this title match just being a match for the sake of having a match, and there's probably not going to be a title switch, I'm really excited for Io and Bianca. Because actually, well, when I think about it again, Io and Bianca are also both going to SmackDown. So this could actually be for the SmackDown Women's title in disguise. You know, when you really think about it. However, I'm very glad Io is getting a chance to actually wrestle without Bayley and Dakota, and she can actually show off her skills.
It's a good showcase for her.
Absolutely.
Look at her. She's so happy. Look at that smile.
She's very happy.
She's like, finally. Yeah, she doesn't need to win. She's not going to win. We all know she's not going to win. It's kind of just like a, hey, look what I can do.
Yeah, which is fine because also they put on the same brand. We're going to get Io versus Asuka at some point.
Oh, yeah, we will. Again.
I can't wait for that promo.
Yeah, again.
It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. But no, I think it's going to be fun. I think Bianca's going to make her look like a star. They have the time in NXT together, so I feel like they know each other quite well. So I think it's going to be good. I'm waiting for Damage Control to actually break up, and we'll see what goes from there. But Bianca's going to win this. Oh, yeah, this is going to be a bunch of thick, meaty men just beating the crap out of each other. Triple threat match, Austin Theory trying not to die against Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed for the U.S. title. Somehow, I'm saying now, somehow Theory's going to find a way to win because Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley can't keep their hands off of each other, and that's okay.
He's going to hit a tsunami, and Austin Theory's going to do something.
That tsunami's devastating.
I just love when Wade Barrett said it. It's just like, yeah, dude, you really did put it over. It's touche. That's the only good thing you did in your career.
That's like when Corey Graves used to yell Kinshasa.
Yes.
All the time. Which I think the first time he did it was just like, he was just so in the moment, he just yelled it and it just became a thing.
Yeah.
The one thing that upsets me about this is that Bronson's staying on Raw and Bobby's going to SmackDown, so we won't see this feud again. And
Yeah.
because honestly, they've been one of the more exciting things about Raw the past month. Them just trying to beat each other's heads in. I'm like, please, more of this. But
I also kind of forgot Austin Theory pinned John Cena, so that happened. I'm glad John Cena was right again.
Yeah, I still hate that promo.
Dude, it's just I hate how right he was. It's like, John, as you do this all the time.
Yeah, stop
trying to put over young people.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It just puts you over more.
Yeah, it's like, can you just not put yourself over for once, even like on accident?
Austin Theory's going to have a bunch of other issues too, because Austin Theory now has Grayson Waller on his show on SmackDown as well, and they're pretty much the same fucking person.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see how that goes. Austin Theory, who's the only person from The Way who's not going to be with The Way, which I'm totally okay with.
Yeah, of course.
I'm totally okay. But Austin Theory's going to have an avenue to shine. He is, honestly, Austin Theory is made for Fox. just from a brand's perspective.
Yeah, he looks like a Republican. Fucking look at him.
Austin Theory is made for Fox. He's got the U.S. title. I bet you Fox was like, listen, we want the United States champion Austin Theory just because he has that that United States title. Like, we need the save face somehow. We just fired Tucker. Like, we need the save face somehow. Yeah. Oh my god. But no, this might open up the show. I think this might open up the show. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
Yeah, dude, nothing says hey Puerto Rico, look at America. Like having it kick off.
Yeah. Bronson Reed's probably gonna put on a show, which is gonna be great. Like I said, Austin Theory is probably, for the sake of it, again, they're probably gonna continue Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley for the umpteenth time. Austin Theory is probably, like you said, Bronson Reed's going to hit a tsunami. Austin Theory is going to, like, kick Bronson Reed out of the ring and pin Bobby. Yeah. And cheat his way to win. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Moving on to what might actually be the feel-good moment of the entire weekend. Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega, who finally gets a chance to really do something as a singles competitor in her home country, no less, against for the SmackDown Women's title, which is going to be interesting. They have been pushing Zelina kind of by herself a little bit. I think it's just for this show. She's been having her own entrance. She's been having her own couple of matches. Rey Mysterio has really been in the court, like, hey, you're going down to your hometown, never forget this. You know, all of that stuff. Yeah. You know, but I like it. I think it's a good feel-good story. It's
I know you're small, Zelina. Just use your teeth.
You know, I think it's a feel-good story. They did make an emphasis to say that she's going to be finally wrestling in front of, I think, her grandmother for the first time,
and her her mother,
and a lot of her family that still lives down in Puerto Rico. So this is going to be. I'm interested to see what she comes out in, because I think she's going to be very colorful. Most of her outfits are. It's like she's either really cosplay, like she does for the Rumble, or she's very like just colorful in her outfits and big headdresses and all of that stuff. So I mean,
let her have her moment.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm excited to see her react to it.
Me too.
She's going to get destroyed in the... Well, she'll be competitive in the match, but we all know she's not winning, but who cares? Let her have her moment.
I think Rhea understands that, too, and I think they're going to put together... I think Rhea's going to help her put together a good match.
Yeah. It's like, listen, no matter who you put in there, you go, oh, yeah, Rhea's winning. You might as well make it a hometown hero.
Yeah.
Get some heat.
Yeah, get a little hometown curse. You know, I think it'll be fine, but I'm excited to see her reaction. I'm excited to see how the crowd reacts to her, because of all the performers outside of Bad Bunny, because Damian Priest doesn't really push the fact that he's a Puerto Rican heritage, but Zelina Vega pretty much does, like, all the time, and she is part of the LWO, which by the numbers is like the hottest selling merchandise on WWE.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
It's such a money grab, but it's gonna work.
I want to know whose idea it was. Whose idea is it to bring back the LWO?
It wasn't Chavo's.
Definitely not Chavo. If it was Chavo, he'd be the only one who can use Guerrero. Sorry, Vicky.
I don't know whose idea it was, but when I saw it, like on the go home or whatever, or like the go home before WrestleMania, I was like, "This is perfect." I was excited. I was so excited.
Very smart.
It was smart.
Very smart. Because one, they're in LA.
Yeah.
And then now they're in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it's been selling, like the LWO shirt has been selling like wildfire.
It's a good shirt.
It's a good shirt. I like how they
Mexican people love being Mexican.
Yeah. I like how they rebranded. I like how they rebranded Legato to LWO. It works. They're a legacy faction now.
Yeah, it works. It does work. It's weird because Legato is like so good in NXT for the character work they were doing.
Santos was a boss in NXT. I loved him.
Yeah. Yeah, but it wasn't quite hitting on the main roster, and then they pivoted, and this is working.
This works.
Just throw Ray in, and sure.
I will say this. I do hope somewhere down the road, once they're done with the LWO, because the fact is not going to last forever, and that's fine. Right. I want them to. I want at least Santos to pivot back to that kind of that cartelish drug lord persona that he was pushing in NXT, because I thought he really had something.
Dude, he needs to be Escobar from Narcos. If you ever watched Narcos,
I did not. I heard good things about Narcos, but I did not watch Narcos.
Narcos is phenomenal on Netflix. It's all in Spanish, which is way better. But how they portray Escobar is this like charmingly ruthless.
That sounds like Santos.
Yeah,
yeah, it sounds like Santos.
He just needs, and then he just needs to chase after Pedro Pascal because he's also in the show, and just beat him down.
I think that's what you do whenever they do a Santos heel turn, because I think that's how the LWO breaks up, which I think is also very smart. He needs to become that character again.
Oh, he's gonna murder the fuck out of Rey Mysterio, and then him and Dom have the biggest bro hug.
They're gonna have the McMahon and Bischoff hug.
Yep.
But I think that's where it should go. But anyway, Zelina and Rhea Ripley again. Zelina's gonna. I just want Zelina to put together a really good match, because I think they have it in her. I think she has it in her. Rhea's gonna get the win, but I think it's gonna be a fun match overall.
Yeah, I'm glad she has. I'm glad she's gonna have her moment.
Yeah,
she deserves it.
She's
had a long career.
On to a match who has a worse build than Cody and Brock, because this was literally a one-time segment on Raw, where they announced they were having this match. Okay,
Even Seth tweeted, I was like, "This is news to me."
Although Seth's promo was good, he goes, "I want to do the one thing that I always do. I'm going to make you famous," was a great little line. Seth is probably winning. It's gonna be interesting how Omos is portrayed here. Like, he went up against Brock, and Brock sold for him as Mania as best as he could. Now he's going against somebody who is Seth freaking Rollins. Visually, this looks like an interesting matchup. How they blend together in the ring is going to be interesting. And I like what Fretzelmania just said. Kingslayer,
that is pretty good.
Kingslayer, Beast Slayer, Giant Slayer. It adds to the lore.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
You're saying the same thing 3 times, but it works.
Yeah. It does work. I'm also interested to see what Seth wears to this event as well.
What do Puerto Ricans hate? Well, he's Seth's a Lopez, right?
He's Kobe Lopez.
What's his nationality? Where's he from?
I don't actually know what Seth's actual ethnicity is. I know he's from Iowa, but like I don't know where his family is from.
Yeah, how did a Lopez end up in Iowa? That's what I want to know.
Well, Sasha Banks.
Yes, immigrated to Iowa.
Sasha Banks also grew up in Iowa too, which is also very weird.
That is really weird.
Yeah.
You know who actually lives in Iowa?
Who?
Corn.
What do you mean, like the vegetable?
No, like the food. Corn.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant like I was gonna be like, you mean the rock band Korn lives in Iowa?
I don't want to be surprised. They're fucking weird too.
Nah, Korn's cool. I do fuck with Jonathan Davis, the lead singer of Korn. I'm a low key fan of Korn. They're pretty awesome. But where's Kobe Lopez from? Because I do need to look this up right now. Because I am very interested in this.
Yeah, I'm going to ethnicity.
All right.
Armenian, German, Irish.
Oh, I didn't see that.
He's Armenian.
Oh, I did not.
Yeah, so he's not Spanish.
Oh,
it's Mexican American stepfather.
Oh, okay. That's where the name comes from. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. That explains a lot. Corn is Nebraska. Well, that's also very true. Right next to Iowa. It's close enough. Nebraska Cornhuskers. That makes sense. There's a lot of corn in Nebraska. Anyway, moving on to this. You know what I was also surprised about, even though Seth was on Raw? I wanted Seth to be at the Met Gala.
I did see those tweets going on.
Seth Rollins is tailor-made for the Met Gala, and they didn't let him go. Like, could you imagine?
Oh, Fressus gave me a geography lesson.
Yes, he did. Could you imagine Seth and Becky showing up at the Met Gala?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I hope Becky has an Eat the Rich dress on.
Oh my God, it would be very, very interesting. But yeah, I think Omos takes a loss here, more than likely, especially if you are building Seth Rollins to be your first ever the first world champion in this new iteration of the world title.
Yay.
I guess, yeah, this has got to be something. And Omos is a free agent, so he can take a loss, go away for a while, and then come back doing something. Again, it's a negotiation with MVP. I don't know how that's going to go.
If he keeps losing, he's going to have like a win-loss record of negative, and that includes all the jobbers he beat.
Which he just beat a jobber on TV, on Raw.
Of course he did.
This past week. Sometimes using jobbers are good, because...
Who's going to stop the giant Omos? I don't know, Corey. Someone we've seen on TV before.
Well, it worked for Braun Strowman. Remember when they rebuilt Braun Strowman, he went up against jobbers for fucking weeks?
Yes.
It did work. It did work. And Braun Strowman ended up winning a Universal title against Goldberg, which we don't talk about that.
Yeah, that did happen.
That did happen. Because Roman couldn't wrestle. Oh, man. But anyway, folks, that's all the Backlash card is, which is fine. I enjoy it. It's short. It's a short card. There's not...
Like 2.5 hours.
2.5 to 3 hours. What is going to be interesting is that they're doing a press conference on Friday at noon from San Juan, which will include Bad Bunny as well. And I don't know if we're going to do a post-show press conference, but they are doing a big press conference Friday at noon before SmackDown, which is also going to be in Puerto Rico. So here's the question here, besides the fact of how good do you think this pay-per-view is going to be, I'm going to go say solid 7.5, because again, this is a throwaway because the real one is Night of Champions, which is going to be in 3 weeks. But my real question for you as well, how often do we see Issa?
Oh, God. She might storm the ring. Wait, let's see what she can do.
That would be a Triple H call. I have a feeling Issa has like front row seats to this. And
nah, she's in a suite.
She might swing at Cody for beating up Brock.
Yeah.
That's what I totally see.
Special guest backstage? No, she wouldn't be able to hold herself together.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't wait to clip this part and just see what her response is. Oh, I don't. Listen, if Issa became a contracted WWE backstage correspondent, I'd be so happy.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be freaking awesome.
I know who that is.
She is cool with us. She'll swing her heels at Cody. Oh, that reminds me. I forgot, were they in Texas on Monday, where Rey Mysterio said he would probably hit Dominic with a chancla? I was like, yes. I was like, there's a chancla coming out on Backlash, and it's going to be great.
That's funny.
Which I'm also very surprised that Rey Mysterio is not on this card.
Yeah. Well, he'll probably come out with the LWO.
Well, the LWO is really not on this card. It's just literally Zelina Vega.
You can come out with her.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, that is the one surprise of this card. I am surprised that the LWO does not have a featured match on this card. Like,
yeah, it seems like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, especially, like, I don't know, Rey Mysterio just made the Hall of Fame. He's just came up with a fantastic match with beating his son's ass at WrestleMania. Luchador masks are gonna sell like hotcakes all the time, especially in Puerto Rico. Like, why not have him on the show? You know what's gonna fucking happen? I know exactly what's gonna happen. They're gonna do a last minute match. They're gonna do a last minute match announcement on SmackDown with the LWO.
They could. Card subject to change.
Yep. And I think that's exactly what will happen. But by and large, well, how good do you think this pay-per-view is going to be? I said 7.5. What do you got?
I'll give it a 7. A confident 7.
Yeah, I'm confident in this too. This is going to do great numbers for them. Is this going to push storylines? Is it going to push like really the narrative that WWE is going with right now? No, but it's going to be a global showcase so they can say, "Hey, guess what? We did something that AEW hasn't." Because remember, they're not going to be in the continental U.S. until SummerSlam.
That is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Really? No.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Saudi Arabia.
Money in the Bank.
That's in London, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. O2 Arena. And then SummerSlam.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the new events. So get ready to have a horrible schedule for watching premium live events. Because you know Money in the Bank's going to happen at like noon on like a Saturday because it's in London.
Shit.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So it's going to be it's going to be interesting, but I love what they're doing, and also they're doing a really smart thing because also this Saturday is UFC. Mm-hmm. Is Aljamain Sterling, Long Island guy, versus I think it's Cueto or
Aljamain's fighting this weekend.
Mm-hmm, he's the main.
Could I ever tell you? My friend is his tenant, Aljamain.
Oh, really? I have a picture of
my friend Manny. His landlord is Aljamain Sterling.
Nice. Well, Funkmaster used to come out to the bars on Long Island. I have a picture with Aljamain.
Yeah.
So he's a really nice guy.
Well, it was a title because how he won it was not good.
I didn't see how he won the title.
He won it by DQ.
Oh.
Yeah, Peter Yan just kicked him square in the dick.
What an asshole.
Yeah, and dude, he was winning. Sterling was getting his ass whooped like the fourth round. It was just a really, really bad low blow. And Sterling, to his, not saying he bitched out or anything, but he couldn't continue, because he got kicked in the dick so hard.
Oh, well, yeah, it was probably like a legit UFC kick. It was just straight to the nuts.
Yeah, they give you 5 minutes, but he needed more. He needed more than 5 minutes. So it's DQ and he won the belt. So I mean, he got really kicked. It's just a shame that's how he won the belt. So I'm glad because people call him a paper champ, obviously, but so I'm glad he still actually has the belt because that was a few years ago.
Okay. Yeah, no, good for him. I was well on Aljamain. But back to Backlash, like I said, this is going to be a good public showing for WWE.
Dude, ONE FC has a card on Friday night too.
What's up?
Mighty Mouse is fighting on Friday.
Really?
ONE FC. They're in Colorado.
Jesus.
It's the first time they're in the States, so it's Demetrius Johnson.
Jesus, I'm just thinking about this now. Because now WWE and UFC are going to merge sometime within the next year, whenever that business deal becomes official. Essentially, what we're seeing this Saturday is the same company putting on two big shows at the same time.
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
Yeah. That's mind-blowing, and they'll probably continue to do this. Or they might get smart with it and not schedule against each other.
Yeah. Well, it depends. Do you want a lot of money all at once? Do you want your money spread out?
Yeah.
So really, is this how's your budget? How much money you got in the bank currently? Hope it's not an SVB.
Yeah, so Saturday is going to be interesting with that in episode. I don't even know where this UFC event is going to be at, but it is going to be interesting. I know where I will be. I will probably be on Discord if anybody wants to join. Fretch, might be just me and you because I think Sir Charles is busy. We'll talk about that on the post show.
Jazz and I will be eating pizza.
Yeah, I'll be getting my.
No, we're doing wings this weekend.
Wings. Well, don't you have 5 pounds of wings?
Dude, they got bad. Even though they're frozen forever, I cooked them and the skin tasted weird. So I threw them out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I did get through half of them and I bought another bag of nuggets.
Oh, the nuggets are great.
I'm gonna get some fucking nuggets.
The nuggets are great. So I might be on Discord if anybody wants to be around or whatever. So let me know what's up with that. But Backlash is going to be an interesting card. It's going to be my primary thing, and then I'll probably move over to UFC. But that's all we have for this week, unless there's anything else we need to talk about.
Oh man, this was a good show. I'm glad Kae responded so well to the first guest game.
Yeah, I gotta clip that. That was a great little line. So yeah, are we ready to get out of here?
Yeah, it's good.
Let's post-show it up. Yeah, let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to episode 339 of the Kings of the Rings podcast, Throw It Backlash. We are so happy to have Kae Fabe, formerly known as the Kae Murphy, rejoin the show on a more permanent basis. So be sure to keep on tuning in because Kae Fabe is going to be back a lot more frequently. Backlash is this Saturday, so make sure you check him for that. And I want to take this time right now to thank everybody who has subscribed to us on YouTube, because we are now over 100 subscribers on YouTube, which is a pretty good big accomplishment for us. I might do something fun for it. I'll let you guys know in the future. Again, I've been your host, King Ricky Roll. Find me at Ambassador Biggs across all social media outlets whenever I decide to return. Find Kings of the Rings podcast at KOTR_podcast all over social media. Like, share, subscribe, leave us some 5-star reviews. If you're listening to us, make sure you're listening to us on whatever podcast streaming service that you listen to us to by subscribing to Wrestle Addict Radio, the cure for the common wrestling podcast, and follow Wrestle Addict Radio socials at Addict_Wrestle on Twitter and Wrestle Addict Radio everywhere else. The links to all of our stuff, including some of our fantastic merchandise, which is so happy to be wearing right now, is in the description below. Will Tarashuk.
Yeah, man. My name's Will Tarashuk. T. Thomas, Arashuk. I got nothing really to share. You know, all my shit. My YouTube channel, Talk More Tarashuk, reached over 200,000 views, and I'm close to 250 subscribers. So, thank you to all you people who support me on both here and there. Yeah, I got a lot of cool guests coming in the next few weeks. Next week, I talked to this guy about anthropology.
I hate anthropology.
Cultural appropriation. And we wrapped up a lot of podcast talk and business talk. So, very interesting guy. Guy by the name of Adrian McIntyre. Very interesting guy. Glad I met him.
Awesome. All right, so folks, when we come back next week, we're going to be the fallout from Backlash. We'll probably get back to AEW because they're doing something, right? They're around. Apparently, there's
I guess I haven't heard anything in the chat this week, so I guess I don't know. Adam Cole and what's his face did.
Apparently, there's a new deletion match coming up, or who knows. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. The roster split will be in full effect, so we're gonna see how that goes. And again, Kae Fabe will be back. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you stick around for the post show because we are gonna play MI the Asshole. So goodbye, good night. We'll see you soon. Then fuck you, Slack.
Puerto Rico to Saudi to London just to go to fucking Detroit.
This has been a Wrestle Addict Radio branded podcast.